Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hans Graf, the principal conductor of the Singapore Symphony Orchestra, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this week's concert. We start with a Mozart violin concerto. He started with a almost Haydn-like B-flat major concerto, and a couple of months later he was at number 5, and this is the greatest violin concerto before Beethoven. The A major, K219, and it has a special thing which the other violin concertos don't have, a slow introduction, which puts you in the mood, and then it starts with a very vigorous allegro. And the second movement is one of the most dreamy E major interludes, and there is a second version of a second movement for this concerto, K262, I think, an adagio in E major, which is also very beautiful, and I do not understand why he was trying to substitute this movement. So we play, of course, unquestioned, the original second movement. And there's the third movement, which gives the music a name. The violin concerto is sometimes, especially in America, called the Turkish. The third movement is a minuet, but it has in between two episodes in A minor, which are a little bit full of wit, aggressivity, joyous aggressivity, and a little bit of unusual effects. For instance, what could make music Turkish is percussion. When he wrote in the Seraglio a Turkish music, he had real percussion, and you had the drums beaten with a brush. So there's a very unusual sound. In the orchestra of the symphony, you don't have this. So the violin players take the bow, turn it around, and beat the strings with the wood. And he writes it, con l'arco al rovescio. So, you have a sonata, which is also Turkish, the A major sonata, same A minor, and then you hear the drums, and here that was Turkish. Why Turkish? Well, the Turks had besieged Vienna twice, unsuccessfully, besides Spain, which they had already. It's always a good thing to have a Turkish interlude, which is an Orientalism, very funny, they liked it. The other work of this concert is very different. It's a work by Ye-Eun Choi, but in fact it's music by Georges Bizet. How come? Ye-Eun Choi was a great piano player, very good pianist. He was about 20 years plus younger than Shostakovich, and he grew up in a musician's family. He was friends of Shostakovich from very early years and got a very good education. And when he did his diploma in piano with distinction, brilliant pianist, he decided, I don't want to go there, I want to be a composer. So he got very serious in composing, and he got also very serious about another thing. He met the most famous Russian ballerina, the real successor of Pavlova, Maya Plesetskaya. And they got married, and they stayed married for 58 years. She admired the character of Carmen, which is a symbol of liberty and of not male dominance, but female answer. And he wanted to dance this. She wanted to dance this badly and asked Shostakovich, can you write a Carmen for me? And Shostakovich said, no. Why? I adore Bizet. I would be afraid to touch it. So she called Khachaturian. So Shostakovich said, why do you ask others? You have the composer in your house. And then Ye-Eun said, okay, I will try it, but I will try it on my own. And when he started, he said, no, you do Carmen, you can't go around Bizet. You have to have him. So he decided to take the music of Bizet almost, I say almost, unchanged, but changed very significantly in two things. He gave it a completely other dress. No big orchestra, only strings, big string orchestra. We play small, Corona, COVID restrictions. And to give color, new colors of the 20th century, he added timpani and 4 percussions. 4 percussionists with all instruments he could find at that time. There's even an instrument which is called coccolo. It's a little bit like maracas. They got friends with a Cuban choreographer at that time, Alonso. I think he got also Cuban instruments there. And he avoids the overture, but he brings very famous pieces of Carmen in a different order, under a different light, and lovingly, admiringly transformed. It's like what Stokowski has done to Bach when he did an orchestration of his organ toccata. What Mozart had done to Handel when he rewrote the whole Messiah, very little known fact. There's a version of Messiah by Mozart, which is really different. So he reshaped Carmen for his wife, and it was a huge success. Just unfortunately, the lady minister did not like it. Mrs. Yekaterina Furtseva, after first performance, stopped it. She stopped her tour to Cuba, to America, and she didn't let Plisetskaya dance it. And there was a famous encounter, which was 5 hours between the 2 ladies and some other composers, where Plisetskaya told her, I will not dance it. I will not go on tour. I will not dance anymore if you don't allow to do this. That didn't help. So Shostakovich called Furtseva and told her, this is a very important, great piece of genius. Let them play it. Okay, let them play it. It will be finished anyhow because it will be no success and Carmen will die. And it was the greatest success and made Shchedrin world famous. And unfortunately, people don't look at other pieces so much. But this is a masterpiece, and what you have to expect is lots of smile, some giggles, but very serious moments and big tragedy. He is not a traitor to Bizet and to Carmen. He does a new job, and it comes from a fog of music going back from death into death. Very impressive piece, and I hope we will do justice to it, and we'll work hard because it's difficult.